Glass pads have been around for a really long time, with the most popular one being SkyPad, really putting gaming glass pads into the mainstream market. Fast forward to today and there's a lot of different offerings from different companies with their own iterations and even innovations in that regard. However, there's been one thing that's been keeping them away from the majority of the market, and well, that's going to be price point. You are averaging around $100 and even going for hundreds of dollars in a couple of these limited drops. And well, there are cheaper glass pads out there, but their performance is pretty lackluster compared to the more expensive pads of today. At least that's what I thought recently. And well, that all changes today. This is the new Flash Beyond GP1, and it's only $50. So why get a glass mouse pad? Well, glass pads will give you better micro adjustments compared to your faster cloth pad, and a lot of people really do appreciate the raw input you actually get with these kind of pads. But man, is it really hard to play on. This is actually my first glass pad that I've ever used, ever played on. It took me about 3 to 4 hours of gameplay getting used to. There's absolutely like no friction whatsoever with this pad at all. Zero stopping power, making it hard personally since I like control pads. So I'm currently rocking the Wallhack SY001 with my Lamzu Thorn as my current setup. So like switching over from something that's fairly controllable versus something that has absolutely no control was very hard to get used to. Out of the box, you get the pad itself, some PTFE feet, and you also get an apple polishing cloth and an arm sleeve as well. The pad itself is actually, fairly smooth. It looks a little bit glossy and all that at first glance, and underneath it is going to be your basic rubber base pad you typically get with older cloth pads that came with it. Now I think everyone uses pour-on now, but yeah, this won't be going anywhere if that's an issue with the base. If it's rubber, you're like, oh, it's probably not good. Trust me, this thing has some heft to it. It's very heavy. Trust me when I say it's absolutely not going anywhere. This one is the black version. It is going to be 500 by 400 for the size, which is around your typical size for a cloth pad as well. Playing on this pad is like riding a bike you haven't ridden for years. You're not good at first when you start out, but you kind of get used to it and it becomes second nature. After my first initial hump I had with this, man, this thing can go. I really enjoy tracking games like Overwatch, Call of Duty, Marvel Rivals. Not long after, I actually gave this a shot with Valorant and CS, and even MMORPGs to really experience the glass pad dominion. A month later, here I am giving you guys my final thoughts of the pad after using it exclusively for a month. First thing I noticed was my inconsistencies I had when aiming. So with cloth pads, you don't really necessarily notice all the micro stutterings you do and all that. And well, with this glass pad, it really kind of amplifies your imperfections with your aim times 100. So any type of micro jitter, any type of movement whatsoever on the mouse itself, it picks it up. So it was definitely fun to play on. I noticed that if I just stopped trying and stopped kind of forcing myself to hit shots I don't really relatively hit often and just play loosely, play a little bit more casually, is where I found the performance to be amazing. Like, this pad is so much fun. By no means am I an aim god, but I'm actually pretty terrible, but playing a little bit more loosely with nothing to lose probably helped me so much when ranking up in game with this pad. When you really have to rely on your raw aim and control to get kills, I think playing with this pad really adds a sense of joy I haven't felt in a really long time. It's a really fun experience, and I feel like most gamers should try it at least once in their lifetimes. And despite it being cold to the touch, if you get any type of moisture whatsoever on this pad, that could lead to inconsistencies with your aim and it becomes almost unplayable. That's where I had to go ahead and purchase a compression sleeve for these type of mouse pads. I have the Aim Labs Focus one. I actually got it on sale for only $10. And well, you could probably get away with any type of sleeve at this point, but I found with polyester and spandex blend being probably the best way to go. Another thing to consider is going to be purchasing some dot skates. It does come with dot skates actually, but I found that the Obsidian, oh no, I'm sorry, not the Obsidian, but the X-Ray Pad Jades or the X-Ray Pad Obsidians are probably the best for these dot skates, and they work best. So yeah, there's no scratchiness whatsoever. It's relatively very smooth when you're playing, but yeah, regular PTF Fifi is probably a no-go. I'll probably go for something a little bit more slicker like these dot skates. Skates will degrade over time, so you will have to go ahead and invest in more skates, unfortunately. I'm noticing a little bit of scratchiness that has been introduced recently. Again, I've had these skates with this pad for about a month now, but I noticed a lot of people online say it's probably best to switch out your skates every 2 months or so. Again, this pad does come with extra skates on it, so you don't really have to worry about that for a while. I noticed that if you raw dog it with like no sleeve whatsoever, this thing will pick up oils. It's very sensitive in that regard. However, again, just giving it a quick wipe and it's gone, so you don't really have to worry about that. So I enjoy the minimal maintenance for this kind of pad. My experience with this pad is, well, pretty positive. I enjoy my time with it, and well, when I'm playing Marvel Rivals or Overwatch, this is probably going to be my go-to pad for now on. It's so much fun to use, and I don't really see myself going back to cloth pads when it comes to tracking games. I haven't had an experience any other glass pads yet, but the introductory cost of those pads is just simply out of my reach. But this pad, for it only being $50 and it includes skates and and a sleeve and all that, it just really good, and it's an absolute steal. A lot of the reviews did say that this is like comparable to top brands, like for half the price, but personally for me, this is probably the best glass pad for the price. But then again, that's just me. Links in the description down below if you guys are interested. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you Flash Beyond for sending this glass pad out for review. I enjoyed it, and if you guys enjoyed the video, hit that like button, subscribe, all that good stuff, and well, I'll catch you guys later. Deuces.